Welcome to the Veterans Impact Show, where our commitment is to help, hope, and healing of our veteran family and our nation. I'm Jim Blythe, a U.S. Navy veteran and a certified senior advisor. Join us as we continue the mission of leadership and commitment to our communities and our great country. Why, you never know where we're going to go or who you're going to meet. We invite you to join in, plug in, and share in what we do. This is your Veterans Impact Show. Hey, good day and welcome aboard. I'm Jim Blythe, U.S. Navy veteran, Vietnam. I was on aircraft carriers, and I got to tell you, it was a lot of fun, especially when we came home. But one of the things we did not have on board an aircraft carrier were ladies at all. Maybe when Bob Hope brought his tour aboard, we had ladies. That was fun. But one of the big things today's military is we have a wonderful population of ladies. It is growing. And you know, Texas is the number one state in the nation with over 207,000 women veterans. That's really important, especially since right now, March is Women's History Month. It's also really, really important to talk about the benefits for women that are in the military. So joining me today, Catherine Smith, who is with the Texas Veterans Commission, and everybody knows about that because we've had Tom Palladino and everybody on to explain that we have the best Texas Veterans Commission, the best commission of all the states in the United States. And they work hand in glove with the VA. And Andrea Lewis, who's special, and she's special with working with women veterans. She's Navy. We've got Army. So we've got a little cloud, you know, going to go Army, go Navy, and whatever. It's all about the camaraderie that we have as veterans. So I want to talk today about women veterans. When they come out, tell me a little bit about what you do, but tell me a little bit about your service in the Army.
Okay. Hi, I'm Catherine Smith. I'm the Women Veterans Coordinator with the Texas Veterans Commission, TVC, for the North Texas area. We do have 4 women veteran coordinators. One services the South, that is Sharon Stewart. We have one that services the West Texas area, who is Melissa Harcrow. And then we have our newest Women Veterans Coordinator that was just recently hired, Dolores Mendiola. She services the East Texas area. As a Women Veterans Coordinator, I do assist our women veterans to meet their unmet needs. That's what I think is one of my most important functions or tasks within our community. I've had women veterans that have called me looking for, a place to stay, a secure place to stay. And what we do is contact our partners. We have a number of partners that work with us, and we find secure housing. It is still up to them to determine which referrals they want to check out with or reach out to. It is up to them, but we give them the referrals and then they reach out from there.
Now, Catherine, you also have a background in employment, and you have worked with the Workforce Commission, which is huge in the state of Texas. Of all of the things that women veterans need when they get out, and Andrea, I'd like for you to comment on that too, what is the number one thing that women veterans come to you and say, this is what we need? What is the number one thing?
You want Andrea or?
Well, Andrea, what would you say?
I would actually have to say that it depends on each woman veteran. And I know that's kind of broad, but it depends on if they're single, if they're married, if they have children. But I would say quite often they're looking for a community that they can come in and settle in to find employment, to find some social services, and then to find areas where they can really just kind of integrate into a space where they can continue to serve as well.
Right. And
and what would you say?
I was a little surprised. You would think when you're getting out of the military that you're looking for housing. The 3 main things that you're looking for is housing, financial security, and transportation. But we put out a survey for our women veteran community, and the main three things that they're looking for is their mental health, health care, and networking. They, like Andrea said,
Really?
they want to network with their communities.
Now, do you find that, for instance, I know there's a women's veterans organization up in Denton. I know the ladies that run that, but do they work with like VFW and American Legion and some of these organizations, or do you find that maybe they don't gravitate towards that?
Right. Those three organizations that you just mentioned, they are heavily reaching out to our community, because if they don't, it would be they're a dying community.
Yeah.
So they heavily reach out to our communities. They now invite us in to speak about the services and benefits that support our women veterans as well as our men. Even though we were organized to focus on our women veterans, male veterans do call us because they say, oh, y'all move faster. We get quicker help from you all. So we support our entire military community. We're just focused on our women veterans and to meet their needs and benefits.
And Andrea, I heard not too terribly many years ago that women walked into the VA after service and they were like, "What are you doing here? we don't have anything for you." That has totally changed, hasn't it? Everything is available to you now. True?
Yes, and then of course, that depends on in the areas that you are located, in the regions that you're located. I know here for North Texas VA, for we have our women's clinic here, which is an option for women veterans to get their health care. But we also have it where they can integrate into regular primary care as well. And so coming in the doors now for VA, potentially a woman veteran walking in can go straight into a women's clinic where they're there to welcome her, but also into her primary care clinic or specialty clinic where they also now are recognizing that women serve too, and they're not there just to accompany and be a caregiver to another veteran.
That's right. I know when I first got out in the 90s, I went into the VA. I looked around, looked at all the guys, and turned around and went out. And somebody told me to go because I was having issues with my knees. But I said, "Oh, I can't stay in here." So it's a big change now. It's very welcoming.
I am so glad to hear that. I think that this is so important. I did, as I said in the opening, I was on aircraft carriers in Vietnam. Women weren't allowed to go on combat carriers at sea. I went on the Roosevelt a couple of years ago and did a media deal, and there were ladies working on the flight deck. There were ladies throughout the ship doing great jobs. And then I interviewed with Lynn Toomer, a young lady who's with the VFW, and she's like their Surgeon General of the VFW. And she was a boatswain mate in the Navy. Now, Andrea, women weren't boatswain mates way back when. And now, she's just doing great. And the educational things that were available to her in the military as well as post-military. And I think that's another thing. Here in Texas, we have the Hazelwood Act. There's other things, too, that we're trying to do to help, especially help women get opportunities to go higher, to do more. Mm-hmm. Can you elaborate a little bit on that, both of you?
Yes, when I was a Veterans Employer Liaison at the workforce, working with TVC, we were the veteran representatives at the workforce. Now, you have a Veterans Career Advisor, we abbreviate that with VEL, and then a Veterans Employer Liaison, we abbreviate them with VEL. So the VCA would prepare the veteran for employment, help them with the resume, if they needed clothing, refer them to service organizations to help them get clothing. And if they needed transportation or to work clothing, we would also refer them to service organizations to help them with those needs so they would be prepared to get ready for work. And then the veteran employer liaison, or the VEL, they are speaking with the employers to determine what opportunities are available to the veteran community. They're speaking with key personnel in that organization so that when that veteran completes the application online, they're able to forward that resume to the key personnel. And if that veteran has a targeted resume showing that they are qualified for that position, we can forward that resume directly to that recruiting manager, and they can get an interview. If a veteran applies for any state opportunity, they are practically guaranteed an interview as long as they show that they are qualified for the position. And then it's up to them, once they get the interview, to do their best and possibly be selected for the position.
Now, Andrea, what are some of the medical needs that are special to women that the VA takes care of? Obviously, what, childbirth, things of that nature? Tell me a little bit about.
That's absolutely correct. And so, as far as medical, with having GYN, and also within our GYN clinics and our women's clinics, having opportunity to access maternity care, and even to some extent being able to access fertility care as well. And so the services are beginning to expand. Just as you said, it's not the VA of old. But also, you mentioned, Jim, you being in the military, and women weren't both with me at the time. I remember going in as a deck seaman, and I remember seeing many females as bosun mates. But not only that, the education part, we're seeing more and more women come out of the military with a degree. And now they're looking also for some maybe post-education. So just like yesterday, we held a resource fair just right there in the atrium of the VA, and had different universities come out to be able to share information about how they can assist veterans in getting into a particular education field, a degree field. But we also had other services outside of, I would say, the university, where we had some that were maybe IT skills or different schoolings that are around in our local area that were able to come out. The great part about that is veterans that showed up, and their family members that showed up to take part of this, but also being able to have TVC in their education program there to share with those who are, who did serve and are, from Texas and enlisted from Texas, to get all of that great information and go right across the hall and get employment information. And so things have changed to where you used to have to go so many different places to get, access to information and care. But just coming now to VA to get your care, you're actually able to also get resources from the community and learn about even more programs that VA has for you as a veteran, and especially as a woman veteran.
I think that's so tremendously important, because who would want their daughter to join the military if we're not going to be taken care of afterwards? So it's important that what you guys are doing, the claims, the benefits, you mentioned mental health. Where are some of the areas of mental health that you provide services over and above and beyond for women?
Yes, and so we do know that PTSD is one that's always talked about within our veteran community. Sometimes it can also be attached to just male veterans, but we do know that it could be a diagnosis for a veteran, male or female. And so we do have several different programs across VA where women veterans definitely can get access to care for PTSD, whether that's just the assessment to learn about different modalities of medications that they can receive, or if that's one-on-one care with an actual therapist or if they're looking to get group therapy. And one of the great things about group therapy, it could be something specific to maybe the trauma they experience, whether that's the PTSD with MST, or if it's something anxiety or depression based as well. There are many different areas that, or I will say many different services that are available to us now as we are learning, as research is taking place, as women and veterans are speaking out about the services that we're needing, the care that's benefiting us the most, and how VA can partner with us and how we can partner with VA to make sure that we're getting exactly what we need, and for mental health and for medical services.
I have that was sent to me by Jennifer, I believe, or someone, and maybe you sent it, Catherine. This deal from TVC that's got all this survey information.
Right.
I was really glad to see that and see what you're talking about, and I think also claims and benefits is way up there. What are, like, for instance, the PACT Act? Now, I benefited from the PACT Act. I don't know if you ladies know Michael Krause, who's head of the benefits in the state of Texas. I did a live remote with him, and he said, "You signed up for the PACT Act, you're Vietnam." And I go, "No, I haven't." And he drugged me down the hall. I ended up qualifying. So I'm benefiting from the PACT Act because I have the 3 conditions presumptive of toxic poisoning. There was a lot, and it wasn't just men. There were men, women, Camp Lejeune, aircraft carriers, Vietnam especially, burn pits in the Middle East. So the women fall under the PACT Act as well, and they need to know about that, don't they?
Do you want?
Oh, absolutely. PACT Act has been very beneficial in us being able to do the outreach that we do here, letting veterans know from at any point in time how they may be impacted by toxins, and just by getting a screening, with us having a screening team that can screen them for any toxins or for any exposure. Being the first step in moving forward with any of their care that they may already be getting or care that they didn't even know that they may need. And so that has been beneficial to us, along with working with VBA. Mr. Cross actually on last year did a PACT Act claims clinic specific to women veterans. And whether you knew that you maybe qualified under PACT Act or not, just for it to be specific to women veterans and to invite us in and to be held at the regional office was great. He even gone as far as to offer to bring that clinic here to into North Texas. And so we've had the opportunity to do that, and we look forward to partnering with them more.
Isn't that great? Okay, I'm going to interrupt you because we're going to take a break to hear from our partners, and we'll talk about that more when we come back. This is Jim Blythe with Veterans Impact Show. We're here for you, so you join us. Tune in, plug in, and be a part of the show. You can contact me on veteransimpactshow.com. Hey, we'll be right back after these words. Welcome back, and thanks to our great sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Healing Thine Heart's Ministry, and Symbios Integrative Health. Now, let's get back to this conversation. Before we start, I need to say a special thank you to DBTV Network that puts us on Amazon Fire, Roku, Spotify, smart TVs all over the world. It's amazing what they're doing for us, and we're now carried twice a week on DBTV. Look us up, Veterans Impact Show, and the AUN TV network out in California. Thank you guys for carrying us. On top of that, I want to thank Fairway Independent Mortgage as one of the sponsors. That's my mortgage company, and I'm at 311548. That's my NMLS. Ours is 2289. We're an equal opportunity lender. I got to say a special thank you to Healing Thine Heart's Ministry that does marriage counseling. Cedric couldn't be here today. He was brokenhearted. He's meeting with the mayor and council of the city he lives in to try and help veterans there. So I'm thrilled that he's doing that, but I'm sorry he's not with us because he would be thrilled to hear about these wonderful things. Also, I want to thank Symbios Integrative Health for all they do with mental health, physical health, pain relief for veterans. Now, we were talking about various and sundry things. One of the things that I noticed, Catherine and Andrea, and I know one of the ladies that does a veteran entrepreneur deal, that's very important. I know Patrick Alcorn, for instance, who started a kind of a veteran entrepreneur deal with, I believe it's the University of Texas at Arlington. And I've been there a number of times. Patrick is an amazing person. VR Small, who has a women's veterans initiative for entrepreneurship. This is a huge thing because not everybody wants to work for a corporation. And there's opportunities, a lot of opportunities. So can you expound just a little bit about those entrepreneurial things?
Right. Texas Veterans Commission, we do have 8 programs, and one of those programs is our entrepreneur programs. So an entrepreneur can reach out. Of course, they can go to our website, look at that menu line, and they'll see the entrepreneur program and just punch that in, make an appointment. They just have to fill out a little bit of short information. When they reach out, when our women veterans reach out to our community and say, I need help with my business, it can be at any stage whatsoever. And we do refer them not only to our entrepreneur program, TVC's entrepreneur program, we refer them to the VWEC, the Veterans Women's Entrepreneur Center. We refer them to TWU's Women's Entrepreneur Center, UTA's Entrepreneur Center, and depending where they are, if they're in Killeen, then I refer them to the Chamber of Commerce Entrepreneur Center, where they can get free training at any stage. And when I say any stage, even if they're just starting and they don't even have a mission statement, they give them the training. They have free classes on the weekends, both virtual as well as in person. And it really is up to the veteran to take advantage of the free training. They even have training on how to set up your website. So reach out to us, and we will most definitely refer you to our points of contacts so that you can get involved with the free training for your business.
You know, Andrea, I'm a certified senior advisor. I work with the elderly. There's a lot, I have run into a number of former women medics who got into the healthcare industry, who were working with seniors in home health care and medical health care. And I think that's a phenomenal way to go. I don't know if you had many friends who may have gone that way, but that's a huge open business right now for taking care of our seniors.
Absolutely, it is, and a very important one as well. And so for those seniors who are unable to access assisted care or independent care and want to receive the care in their homes, yes, VA has a program for that. And quite a few of our workers in that program are veterans and are women veterans, but also outside of that, when you hear Catherine talk about the entrepreneurial spirit, for those who have opened up their own home care services, we have found that they are beneficial to our community, and it's been great as VA being able to partner with several of them, whether they're connected through community care and able to receive referrals, or they're just connected into the community and able to refer into VA if a veteran had not at some point accessed their even VA benefits and was just using their insurance to access maybe home care benefits. So yes, that population of veterans is very dear to us. We love being able to bring the care and the awareness to and meet them where they're at. That's been the biggest part of working with our senior community. It's just meeting them where they're at.
Well, some of my buddies who are Vietnam veterans now take advantage of that. I believe Visiting Angels is a community care, and they work with seniors, and it's tremendous help for somebody to come in and help, especially a single senior person. So these are various benefits and things that are available that a lot of people don't think of, do they,
Right,
Catherine?
right. I had a woman veteran that called me. Her husband was in stage 4 cancer. Her life was in turmoil. Her children, they weren't able to get them to school, and these are school age children. She wasn't able to get him to their appointments. So I referred her to a home health agency so that they could help them with the transportation, do the light housework, take the children to school. All she had to do was go to the VA and make sure they had a code, and even the home health agency will make sure that they do that for her as well, so that they can have a more fulfilled life as a family. And I also referred her to the vet center because they give our veteran community free counseling, whether it's bereavement or PTSD/MST. They get them into free counseling, and those are records that are separate from the VA, just in case the woman veteran does not want to talk with the VA about any issues or problems. Or
All right, we're going to have to take a break because I want to come back and talk more about this. You need to talk to the VA. You don't need to be afraid of the VA because look, it's been a miracle for me. It's been a good situation. We want to talk more about that, and we've got Andrea Lewis and Catherine Smith. Catherine is with the Texas Veterans Commission. Andrea is with the Veterans. You're with the healthcare system. Oh, okay, because there's two. I get them sometimes confused between benefits and healthcare. So we'll be right back. This is Veterans Impact Show.
Welcome back, and thanks to our great sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Healing Thine Heart's Ministry, and Symbios Integrative Health. Now, let's get back to this conversation.
Well, guys, this is a fabulous opportunity to talk about women, veterans, and what the VA and the Texas TVC is doing. Now, we are worldwide. There are commissions, Tom Palladino told me, there are state commissions in every state in the nation. So you need to go and check out where you are and what's available to get help. Andrea can tell you where they are. You can go look at va.gov, and that will tell you a whole lot about where to go and what to do. And I got to tell you, you need to take a look at the PACT Act. Now, if you're dealing with a parent who is a military, if you were guardian of somebody like that, let me tell you something. Very little known. I didn't realize how little known it was. Is a deal called aid and attendance pension for people who are elderly and disabled. Correct, Andrea?
Absolutely, yes.
And believe it or not, I had a call from a listener in Richmond, Virginia. So I called James Henderson here in Dallas, who's with the TVC, and he's one of the coordinators and registered reps. And he says, well, I can't do Virginia, but give me a minute. Call me back. And he said, I want you to call this person. Here's their number in Richmond with a DAV. And so I said, okay, I called the guy. And he said, yeah, I can take care of him. So I called her. I said, you need to call this guy. So she called him. Within 2 weeks, she had them all signed up for aid and attendance. Her father, she was there taking care of her father, was a World War II veteran. This was several years ago. They got an aid and attendance pension, and this was several years ago, that was about $2,300 and some odd dollars a month, which was huge to help them with Social Security, to help them with home care. A lot of people don't know about some of these benefits, right?
Right. They also have caregiver benefits. If you are the main caregiver for a veteran, you could be eligible for those benefits as well. And you just need to reach out to, TVC. We have our claims benefit advisors. And again, so you can go right on the website and punch the claims line and make an appointment and speak with those representatives, and they will help walk you through that claim.
Well, I don't ever want to say anything negative about the VA, but any kind of government paperwork, and I work with FHA mortgages, what a nightmare. I'm sorry. The paperwork is tough, isn't it?
Right.
Everybody agree?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you get past the paperwork? In the state of Texas, we have VA accredited reps in every county.
Right, right.
And they are there to help you. And let me tell you, if you try and tackle that by yourself, and Andrea, you can probably go, I can't talk about it, but if you try and tackle it yourself, you're going to make a mistake.
Right.
And then you just keep cycling back through. And I think we have in the state of Texas one of the best resources with the TVC.
Right.
And in other states, it could be VFW, American Legion, DAV. Andrea, what are some of the others you may have run into?
VBA is a big one for us as well.
Okay.
And so the greatest part about it is we give veterans the option. They can go with their local VFW, the American Legion. We could refer them into TVC, which we often do, and we have here in the VA. We also have DAV, who's actually here in VA as well. We have a lot of these agencies that are already in the building that you can access. And even if it's just information that you're needing, it's not something to tackle alone because you don't know what you don't know. And another reason we're mentioning these particular veteran service officers is because they've been accredited, they've been through training, and unlike some of our veterans who unfortunately have run into different agencies that weren't able to help them or get what was promised to them, we generally will always refer in to a veteran service officer like James Henderson in Dallas County, or over to our Texas Veteran Commission, or DAV, who was just there on yesterday, fully doing claims for any veteran and answering questions. They're always ready to help. And so that's one of the greatest things about it.
You know, a lot of the things too, I think one of you made a comment about people being afraid to go to the VA. A number of years ago, I sat with a family, and he was a Korean War veteran, and I was having to shout. Now, I got a lot of voice power if I need to use it. But I finally said, "What did you do?" And he said, "Well, I was an artillery commander in the Army in Korea." And I went, "No wonder you can't hear. You need to go to the VA." "Oh, no, I'm not going to go to the VA. I turned to his wife and I said, "You take him to the VA, do you hear?" So she did. Next time I saw them, he had hearing aids and he was doing great. And he said, "Thank you. I can hear. I can hear my grandchildren. I can hear the dog barking." Probably can hear your wife when she tells you to do stuff. And now that selective hearing is gone. But I got to tell you, there are so many benefits.
Right.
Hearing. Now, not only would you get hearing aids, but you will get a disability. And that disability you can use, they'll give you a pension, whatever the disability percentage is, plus you get in Texas to reduce your ad valorem real estate, your home taxes by that amount. So that's a benefit. One of the other huge benefits that a lot of people don't know, and this is crazy because I've been in the mortgage business for a long time and I have helped many people, the VA home loan. It's the best loan in the United States to buy a home.
Right. I've myself and my husband, we've had 3 VA home loans. We, sold and bought and sold, bought and sold, bought and sold. Our second home loan, we went to an accredited VA representative, but there was an issue. I know how to read. And so one of the lines that they had on there was if you are 100% disabled or applying for a VA disability, you're not supposed to be charged a certain entry.
No, it's the
right.
VA funding fee.
Right. Well, they charged us that fee, and I said, "You're not supposed to charge us that fee." And he said, No, we can. So the next thing I know, about within 5 months, I was getting that fee back, a check back from the VA, because they charged us a fee. So it's very good for you to go through your VA home loans. You aren't charged a lot of those fees that the public is charged, and it's very easy. They even got our information online. All we had to do was provide our financial info.
Well, the other thing is TVC partners with Texas Veterans Land Board. And what if you say, I don't want to buy a home, but I want to buy some land, down near Mineola. I want to buy some land near Sherman or Denison. There's a way to do that. There's also a way to use that loan to buy a home. So we've got opportunities in Texas that people need to know. And women need to know this VA is not your grandmother's VA.
Right.
Now, where would you say for somebody to go? Would you go to the Texas Veterans Commission website first? Could they call you? What do you need to do,
Right.
Catherine?
There's a 1-800 number on the Texas Veterans website, and you'll be put through your customer service. And that number also can connect you to the VLB, which is the Veterans Land Board. I was at a hiring event, and I was talking with an agency that refers veterans to different other service referrals. And he did not know that for the VLB, you don't always have to buy the auction property. You can find your own property. And as long as you're eligible, they can also finance that for you. They can help you remodel your homes, fix it up, anything you might need. The VLB can really be there for you, and they are low-cost loans as well.
Very, very much so. I think one of the other things, too, a lot of people don't know, and not within the VA or the TVC, but Home Depot, for instance, has a foundation. And if you're a senior and you're a veteran and you need home repairs, they will come out and assess, and you may be able to get that done for free.
Right. And TVC, we have a grant funding program where we have given grants to nonprofits that also assist our veteran community to fix their homes, winterization, put up the ramps. They'll do everything but the foundation, but that is free. And then, and those are questions that the community asks me, and I send them those referrals for that grant, for our grant funding programs that receive those grants from us.
Catherine, I'm close friends with Chuck Wright. Matter of fact, he and I started this program over 10 years ago, and I continued, and he got involved with TVC. Chuck was on the benefits board. I think last year they gave out something like $40 million in grants that was money generated from the lottery, believe it or not.
Right.
That's wonderful. So it's not coming out of our tax dollars. That's people like me who like to play the lottery. So again, what was that 800 number?
Right. Pull up the website and you'll see the 1-800 number. Let's see. Maybe scroll down. You can. Oh, that's the VA website.
That's the VA number. Can we go to TVC, Jordan? There you go.
Right.
And scroll down, please. And
customer service.
employment grants, entrepreneurs.
Yep.
Here we are.
Keep going.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
There it is, 1-800-252-8387.
Okay, you got it? 1-800-252-8387. Are there any other things, like education-wise, are there any specialty educations? Do you work with, for instance, nursing because you're a medic? Do you work with Texas Women's University with special programs? Do you help them out? Does anybody know?
Right. I'm not sure your question, but TWU, they do give out grants for women veteran entrepreneurs to assist with their programs. As far as, I guess, grants to TWU, anyone that is a nonprofit and assists our veteran community, they can apply for assistance through our grant funding program. And again, you can go right to our website, look for grants, and go on and read the information. You can also call the 1-800 number, and they will get you in touch with a grant funding person, and they'll actually walk you through the application, assist you with any part of the application, give you any information so that when the grant funding open application is back up, you'll be ready and prepared.
Well, that is a big deal because Chuck has told me about it many, many times. But you got to be, they've got all kinds of things, so you need to go through that. You also, on your TVC services, we've talked about all these Texas Women Veterans Coordinators.
Right.
What, now that you are the head of that, is that correct?
Right. For the North Texas area, I'm a coordinator. Our director is Dr. Crystal Matthews, so she's the head of our program. But one of the duties, which I did say a little bit earlier, is that we do assist our women veterans to meet those unmet needs. And we work hard to provide that exceptional customer service. All a woman veteran has to do is to call or email us. And you can go to the website, go to the block where it says Women Veterans, and reach out to a Women Veterans Coordinator. And it doesn't matter what your need is. We do work with partners that help us house our women veterans. Financial, food, Soldiers Angels is one of the places I do refer our women veterans when they are looking for assistance with groceries, Endeavors. Believe it or not, a very little known program with Endeavors is they will go to Walmart and do grocery shopping for the veteran one time when they are, I guess you could say, food deprived.
Yeah.
Right. They are one of our people that help us house and pay for the rent for our veteran community. It's just very important for the veteran to complete all of the paperwork that they need, call in when they should so that they can stay on that program. But they've been known to pay the rent for up to 6, maybe even 12 months as long as they qualify, and help them get on to the Hub VASH program so that they can continue to be secured and in secured housing.
Let's talk about that for a second, because I've served on the board of Heroes House with Gary Hasty, and he took an apartment complex that was burned out mess and turned it into like brand new. I think there's 50 some odd veterans that live there, and they use the HUD VASH voucher. That is a HUD VA program. The VASH voucher, as I understand it, you got to pay a little something. I think it's $50 a month minimum. And let me tell you, man, Gary's apartment complex is great. We have activities over there all the time that we do stuff, and there are others like that. So the HUD VASH voucher could help somebody get back on their feet, especially if you've been homeless. That's what it's for. Isn't that correct, Andrea?
Yes, absolutely. And the great part about that is in learning about all the other programs that you may be eligible for. So a veteran experiencing maybe homelessness or housing insecurity can come in. See actually the housing outreach team. We have an outreach team that's led by Ms. Linda Saucedo, who really will sit down with the veteran, do an assessment, and based off of that assessment, they can let the veteran know exactly what all programs they're eligible for, which is great, because just coming in, most veterans may think that there's only one housing program, but there are several, and they can then decide amongst those which one would be most advantageous for the veteran to immediately get connected with. And so not only will they be able to get housing, but they'll get the support of a case manager through one of the social workers as well.
Now, aren't there some programs for addiction recovery and things like that that can help with the VA? I know they've got some of that. Don't they do some of that at Bonham? And some of
Yes, we have a facility at Bonham, but we also have a domiciliary here at the Dallas VA as well. So for those veterans who may be dealing with substance abuse and addiction, we have on campus at our Bonham clinic and at our Dallas VA where they get the care. They have a team of people and they actually stay there on campus, but they're also able to find employment.
Yeah, and this is special because everybody needs to know. And a lot of times, what you don't know can hurt you. Isn't that right, ladies?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take another break, our last break. When we come back, we're going to finish this up talking with two great ladies, Texas Veterans Commission, Catherine and Andrea with the VA. You need to pay attention because you need to be knowledgeable about what is beneficial to you. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, and thanks to our great sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Healing Thine Heart's Ministry, and Symbios Integrative Health. Now, let's get back to this conversation.
Guys, this is a great conversation. You know, everybody anymore, we used to think military, men go to war. Guess what? We got the ladies going to war now, and we have seen such a phenomenal improvement in change in what is available to women in benefits. So I've got two ladies here who really are knowledgeable about that. Catherine, how can people reach you? What's the best thing? Email?
Right. Email, call. My work phone number is 214-412-4666. And then my email is Catherine, CATHERE.Smith@tvc.texas.gov. And I wanted to touch on really quickly.
Oh, please.
Something that you mentioned before. TVC, our mental health program, they house our justice-involved veterans as well as our homeless veterans. So if you find yourself with an issue with those DUIs or traffic tickets, you can join Veterans Court. And if you, again, everybody, unfortunately, not everybody, but sometimes, our community does mess up, then they can go through those programs and they can be lengthy. But once you complete those programs, your record is wiped clean. It's like it never happened. So you can get your apartments. You don't have issues getting your home loans. So it's a great program. Just stick with it. Veterans Court, you do have to go more than likely weekly. We have coordinators here in Dallas, Tarrant County, really all over the state of Texas, and they do receive grant funding as well from TVC. So if you have a court that does not have a Veterans Court, please reach out to our grant funding program. If you have a county that does not have a Veterans Court, please reach out to our grant funding program and determine if that's something feasible for you, because it has really helped quite a bit of our veteran community. And I went to a reserve station at one of their retirement benefit meetings. And when I spoke about the Veterans Court, I had, I guess, a colonel look at one of his guys, because he wanted him to reach out to me to get his record clean and get in that program. So,
Catherine, I served when Judge Garcia up in Denton County was head of the Veterans Court. Mm-hmm. And I've met the Veterans Court for Collin County. I've been to facilities with them. I know there's one in Tarrant County, and I met Dominique, who was, I don't know if she's still head of the Veterans Court in Dallas County. They do an amazing job. Mm-hmm. And it's not, I'm going to make a statement. You guys can correct me if you want. It's not so much a legal thing as it is a recovery and rehab thing.
Exactly.
And they're going to help you. So if you got problems with alcohol, you got problems with drugs, you got other problems that have ended up, and you got an attorney and you go, hey, I'm a veteran. Can I qualify for the Veterans Court? Can I get help? And let me tell you something. They reach out and they really, really help. These are phenomenal programs. And I will tell you, I did the financial counseling for Judge Garcia's court for quite a while. And there were a lot of young women that came through that who had been picked up on a DUI. And they really did not understand credit, did not understand money management, did not understand budgeting. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't men or women. It just seemed to be a lot of them didn't have it. And it wasn't, it was all backgrounds. And I was amazed. And so we were able to integrate that in, because a lot of times veterans come back, they're given free credit cards, they're given all kinds of stuff, and they get themselves into some real headaches financially. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things that I've done repeatedly is financial counseling. And I know USAA does some of that. I know TVC does some of that. That's important, because if you can't manage your money's going to manage you, and that ain't going to be good.
Right.
That's never going to be good. Now, there's some upcoming events that were sent to me by Angela Wallner. Some of these community events, can you expound on some of these if you want to?
Right.
And tell us about them, please?
Right. As a Women Veterans Coordinator, we put on a number of events that will benefit our women veteran community, such as when you touched on home exemptions. So I had the Tarrant County Controller and the El Paso Controller come on, and they talked about home exemptions, taxes, the best ways to get in. We had a number of questions where my county didn't give me that opportunity. Go back into the county, even if you have to go in person, let them know you're a veteran, take your DD 214, and go ahead and get that home exemption or the exemption on your property taxes, because they can add up to quite a bit. I've had 211 on there, and what a lot of people don't know is that if you use a phone, your cell phone out of state, that number is going to that state's 211. So you might be thinking, oh, I'm calling Dallas 211. You're calling Colorado or Alaska's 211. And you can call 211. You can email them. You can go to their website. And if you call and no one answers, please leave a message, because they will call you back. They refer you to homeless shelters. If you don't know, I had one veteran calling me driving heck how fast down the road to Austin because she was upset with her family here in Dallas. So she's way up there in Austin, just driving fast, more mature veteran. So once we finally got her attention on the phone.
Yeah. You were able to help her?
Right. We referred her to the age shelter so that she could spend the night there and relax.
Well, guys, this has been great. And thank you so much, Andrea, for joining us from the VA. Again, you can go to va.gov, learn a lot. Andrea is a specialist in dealing and helping women. And Catherine, you're so wonderful to come in to do that. I got to tell you, thank you so much, ladies. A quick prayer. Lord God, we just thank you for the hedge of protection you put around our active duty military and our veterans who are working to bring this nation back together. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And this is Veterans Impact Show.